बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्याम सुंदर जय राधा श्याम सुंदर जय राधा श्याम सुंदर जय राधे राधे जय निमाय निताय जय निमाय निताय जय निमाय निताय जय निमाय निताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for making it on the, what is this, the first snow of the season for New Jersey. I know it's been snowing elsewhere. and you made it. So yes, that is a wonderful achievement. We're continuing on the series of the 9 limbs of devotional service, and I think I'm number 3. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to hear. I know someone gave a lecture here for Shravanam Kirtanam last Sunday. I didn't get a chance to see that. Anyways. Damodar Sharan Prabhu. Yes, he gave that, yeah. Okay, so Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. When I put up these prayers on the slide, just go ahead and say it along with me, because, in the past we've spoken about remembering, chanting prayers together, right? So just go ahead and say it with me. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This particular prayer is chanted when we recite a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are going to speak on a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam today. So I put this up again, we can say it together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet shrinvatam swakatha krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suratsatam nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavatir naishtikhi. I really want to thank Ram Tulsi Prabhu for giving me this, because I think this is the first time I'm going to be speaking on the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I am very honored, Ram Tulsi Prabhu, and I'm also very humbled that Radha Shyam Sundar is allowing me to speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam here today. One verse. So this is the verse, which is, the 9 limbs of devotional service, and everyone must be repeating it, but it's wonderful to keep saying it in every class, right? So this is call and recall. So let's do this together. Shri Prahladu Vacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumshar Pita Vishnu Bhaktis Chenneva Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Tan Manyeditam Uttamam.
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu
Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumshar Pita Vishnu Bhaktis Chennava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Atha Tanmanyeditam Uttamam. Matajis. Shri Prahladu Vacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumshar Pita Vishnu Bhaktis Chennava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Atha Tanmanyeditam Uttamam. Synonyms. Prahlad Vacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam hearing, Kirtanam chanting, Vishnu of Lord Vishnu, not anyone else, Smaranam remembering, Pada Sevanam serving the feet, Arshanam, offering worship with Sadopachara, the 16 kinds of paraphernalia. Vandanam, offering prayers. Dasyam, becoming the servant. Sakyam, becoming the best friend. Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything, whatever one has. Iti, thus. Punsharpita, offered by the devotee. Vishnu, unto Lord Vishnu, not to anyone else. Bhakti, devotional service. Chet, if. Navalakshana, possessing 9 different processes. Kriyeta, one should perform. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adha, directly or completely. Tat, that. Manye, I consider. Aditam, learning. Uttamam, topmost. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming His servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto Him. In other words, serving Him with the body, mind and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So, this came again. Okay, never mind. So these 9 processes of devotional service, this is what Prahlad Maharaj says, right? And we are doing the seminar on what are the 9 different limbs of devotional service. You've already heard about Shravanam and Kirtanam, and today is the 3rd limb, which is Vishnu Smaranam. So basically, when I started preparing this lecture, I'm like, this should be very simple, right? Because someone has already spoken about Shravanam, which is so important, and you've already spoken about Kirtanam, which is the singing, japa, the chanting process. So, in reality, if you do these 2 well, Shravanam and Kirtanam, then it's automatic that you're going to have Vishnu Smaranam. Right, so think about it for a second. Shravanam is when you're hearing, and Kirtanam is, let's say for instance, there are different forms of Kirtanam, but let's just take japa for instance, right? So we are doing a japa. What is japa supposed to mean? Japa is when you chant the holy name, you listen to the sound vibration and it goes from the mouth to the ear, just connected like this. So if your entire focus is on that, which is the way it is meant to be, pure japa, you're going to remember Krishna. Because your focus is on that, you're going to think about Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of Krishna. So Vishnu Smaranam naturally comes. So it's basically, there's no need for me to continue the class. Shravanam, Kirtanam, do it well, end of Vishnu Smaranam. Then I said, if I do that, then Ram Tulsi Prabhu is never going to invite me again. So I said, okay, let me put a few slides together for you all. So this is how it goes, right? I thought I would give you some practical examples of how we can remember Krishna. Because in the previous lectures, I myself have said it many times, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So easy for me to say it and so hard for me personally to practice, right? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. What does that mean? Firstly, we live in Kali Yuga, which is all fine and dandy. All of us are living here. But we all live in a world where to survive, we are not Brahmins where we are sitting and we are giving lectures and people come and give alms. Obviously if you're a very learned Brahmin, that still happens. You have to get up, you have to go to work, you have to pay your mortgage, a simple house, simple car, sending your kids to a simple school, a very, very simple life. You need Lakshmi Mataji. And for Lakshmi Mataji, then your entire mindset goes into that. Now I have 24 hours and what do I do and this and that. So When someone even says, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, when we do that on book distribution, a lot of people get upset. They're like, you ISKCON people are, you're a cult and, this is what you're promoting. And that's why we listen to lectures of acharyas where they try and explain to us that it's not as hard as it sounds. It's not as harsh as it sounds. It's very simple and it's a very pleasant process. So I thought we would do some examples of how it is so easy to practice this, right? So I took 3 examples. One is Bhagavad Gita daily, second is your own kirtan, and the third is Srimad Bhagavatam stories. Okay? So the first one is Bhagavad Gita daily. Again, you're going to be like, how can I do Bhagavad Gita daily? I have so much going on, just, chanting my 16 rounds and getting to work and coming back and cooking prasadam. My entire day is gone in that. You can say that. And you're very well justified in saying that. But here's a very simple thing that we are doing right here in Bergen County. Every day in the afternoon, correct me if it's still on. If it's not, then we can restart the process. From 12 noon to 12:15, Monday through Friday, we have a Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a Zoom call. Okay? It's lunchtime. So if you're working for corporate America, you're working for anything, you have lunch from 12 to 12:30. So 12 to 12:15, you just pick up the phone, you come onto the call. If there are 4 people or 6 people or 10 people, each one reads just one chapter, right? And you read the chapter for an entire month. So what happens is, let's say this is December. I'm not sure what chapter is going on right now. Let's assume for the month of December, chapter 12 is going on. No, let's say chapter 9 is going on. So every day, you read the 34 verses of chapter 9. You read it in English one day, you read it in Sanskrit one day, and you do that for 30 days. And what happens, invariably, you start remembering things without even putting in the effort to try and by heart, as we used to do back home in school in India. You naturally start remembering these things. These things just stay with you. 15 minutes. One day you get to read, one day the other person gets to read. So this is really, really a very, very beautiful little program we have right out here in Bergen County. You need any information, it's on the website, and you can also reach out to me or to Gopal Govind Prabhu, right? So once you do that, right? So let's say, for example, we have chapter 9. So now we're reading chapter 9 and then we come across these verses and we're like, oh my God. Chapter 9.14 says, Satitam kirtiyanto mam yatantascha dradavrita namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Krishna is saying, my dear devotees always think about me. They are always chanting my glories. Right? You're reading this. And then in 9:34, Krishna says, Man manabhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi yuktevam atmanam mat parayana. Again, he's saying, always think about me. Keep me in your heart. Right? Then, what happens is this continues, right? And again in chapter 10, Krishna starts on this. But 10.17, Arjuna tells him, Katham vidya maham yogim stvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. Do you see how beautiful this is? You won't understand this, but when you're reading the translations, right? The English translations, Arjuna is telling Krishna, I'm sorry. You keep telling me that, you are this and you are that. I believe you. I believe you, Narada believes you, Asita, Devala, all of them believe you. But I need proof. Literally. Now look at Arjuna. Who's Arjuna? Right? The highest devotee, a friend of Krishna. He trusts everything that Krishna says. But Arjuna, for our sake, is challenging Krishna, not even challenging Krishna. He's being a Gen Z. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any Gen Zers, but it's like, show me what you got. So, and this is what Krishna does. Then in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, then he literally starts telling us what it is that he does. All right? And then from text 20 to text 40, Krishna talks about what he is, where we can see him. So this is one method of trying to remember Krishna, right? When we start reading these chapters, these verses, we imbibe the true essence of these verses and they stay with us and we naturally start remembering Krishna, right? So I did a word play on this, on the 20 verses in chapter 10, and these are the beautiful words that come up. Krishna says, I'm the sun, I'm the word Om, I'm the moon, I'm the shock, I'm the Ganges, I'm time. This is Krishna. Now tell me, are any of these words familiar to us? They're all familiar to us. The Himalayas, the Meru, Shiva, Om, the banyan tree, death. There you go. So what Krishna is trying to tell us is that he's explaining how he is present. It's not that he's present in this, how he himself is death, how he himself is the word Om. And as we keep reading these chapters and we imbibe these, then we don't need to make an effort to remember Krishna. One Purnima night, we are just driving down, getting home from wherever to wherever. All of a sudden, we see the moon. And in the past, we would say, wow, what an amazing moon. It must be the 14th day of the moon. But now, because we've been reading these chapters from the Bhagavad Gita, we say, whoa, that is Krishna right there. It comes to you naturally. You naturally tend to remember Krishna. Right? So this is one simple method that we can do. When you see the ocean, in the past we would say, oh my goodness, I can't see the end of the ocean. It's so fantastic and this and that. We don't say that anymore. We say, look at this amazing ocean. Only Krishna could have conceptualized it. Right? Today it was snowing. In the past you would have said, Arre Bapre, I don't think I'm going to go to the temple. I'm going to skip it because I'm going to shovel the snow, and that's that. But now we have a different perspective because we say, look at the snow. Look at Krishna's thought. Only a genius like Krishna could have thought of it, right? This is the snow. He brings it for us. It stays on the mountaintops. In the spring, it starts melting and it comes down. And we get water to drink in the spring. And the summer, it starts evaporating and going up. This beautiful cycle. Which man, which human being could have thought of that? It's only Krishna. So now when we look at the snow, they're like, Krishna, thank you for going, preempting the fact that we won't have water in the summer, and thank you for giving us snow right now. Your entire perspective changes, right? So this is how easy it is for us to remember Krishna when we start making these small changes. Call into the Zoom call from 12 to 12:15, read the chapters, many fun things you'll understand. Some are very philosophical and very hard to understand, but just reading them will make it easier for you as you go along. And of course, you keep coming for lectures, so. Okay, so this is number one. One method of remembering Krishna. The second method is Kirtana. Now, I put this over here because I had an epiphany just the last few weeks. When we are chanting, right? We finished our rounds and we are singing and whatever the case is. So the other day I was just singing one silly nursery rhyme. And I'm like, what on earth am I doing? Why am I singing this silly nursery rhyme? And then it struck me that I could just translate the whole thing, right? So this is my version, and we're going to play a little game. I would like to pass the mic for each of you to create your own tune. Very simple, one round of Hare Krishna. This is my attempt, right? This is Christmas time and everyone is out there singing. Any place you turn, there's a jingle bell going on. So this is my version. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, I made it because I have a brand new grandchild at home and I needed to sing, and I did not want to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But I would really like to play this game. I would like to send the mic across and ask you all to create your own tune. Go for it, Ram Tulsi Prabhu. Make one up. Make one up.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Beautiful. Please, we will need some volunteers. Make your own tunes. Rakta Prabhu, make up your own tune.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. Who else would like to volunteer? Sing, Prabhu. Yes, sing.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna. Very nice, Prabhu. Anybody else? Mataji's? Don't feel shy. Sing, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. Sing, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nice. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. No?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very good. Anyone at the back?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very good.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice, Prabhu. That's it? Mataji is at the back. Sing, sing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice. That's it? Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very good.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very nice, Mataji. That's it? Going once.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. That's it? Thank you, everyone. So why did we do this exercise? So when we talk about kirtan, right? One form of kirtan is, of course, japa. We're all sitting in our corners and meditating and trying to focus because we've been told that the tongue has to move and the sound has to go to your ear, that whole connection. But there are many times that, we've either finished japa or we're doing something where we can't do japa. We need a half focus. And that's a great time to remember Krishna too. And this is a fun way to remember Krishna, right? For instance, today, let's say today was not a Sunday, it was a Monday. It's snowing all over the place. You're sitting in Port Authority, you're stuck because not a single bus is moving. Penn Station, not a single train is moving, right? There are people who are walking up and down in anxiety, people who are calling their family and loved ones, trying, let me try this, let me get an Uber, let me try this. But you, because you are a devotee and because you've heard the Smaranam lecture now, sitting over there, in Penn Station, you're just closing your eyes and you're thinking of a tune. And you're going to just convert that tune into a Hare Krishna. Just think about what a pleasant experience this is. Just listening to all of you sing, I could feel my anxiety just go down. I was so nervous. My nervousness goes down. My anxiety goes down. Just hearing each of you sing in your own tunes. That is what Krishna Smaranam does. Everyone else is on their phones, and they are so much on their phones at that particular time, right? On a snowy day. Just one example of a snowy day on a Monday. People are on their phones. Obviously, all the batteries have run out. Now everyone's running helter-skelter to get a charger. But you are sitting over there, closing your eyes and just thinking about a tune. And all of a sudden, there's a smile on your face. And everyone else is watching you and they're like, what is happening here? But they know that you're not one of those special needs person. They know that there's something else that's going on really wonderful within you. That's why we did this exercise. So Kirtanam is a wonderful way. We don't have to go on Sankirtans. We don't have to have congregational chanting. We just need to do it within ourselves. And it's a wonderful way to remember Krishna. Pick on a tune. Why pick on a tune? During the holidays, anytime you're in one of these crowded places, there's always music blaring. You go up an elevator, there's music blaring. Convert that into your own Hare Krishna tune. You remember there are some days that we get, Hare, ye gana kahan se fas gaya? It's like going on and on in your brain. You're trying to get rid of that song, but you keep thinking about it. Just convert that tune into a Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and it'll be the most delightful thing and the most delightful way of remembering Krishna. So this is a suggestion, a second way of Smaranam, of thinking of Krishna in a nice, fun way. When you're doing something, your hands are busy, your full focus is not on the name, but at the same time, you're singing a tune and you're remembering Krishna. Okay? And the last suggestion I had was Srimad Bhagavatam stories. Right? So I'm going to tell you a story. What happens is, when we go for Sunday lectures, a lot of time there's philosophy, and a lot of times there's philosophy and stories. But there are some times when you just listen to a story and you go home and it stays with you for days. You just carry that story with you somehow. Something happens and you try and relate that story together. So today I tried to put together a story for you to also give you the encouragement to go into audio.iskondesiretree.com. Thousands of lectures, thousands of stories over there. If you get a chance to listen to one of those, that story remains with you. That's another easy way for us to remember Krishna, right? I picked up a story which stayed with me for a very, very long time, and I thought I would share that story with you, and it will stay with you probably one day, a few days, maybe for a long time, right? But this is another simple way to remember Krishna. Just listening to stories, hearing stories. You don't have the time to read, just listen to it, right? This particular story is the Bhagavatam Mahatmya. It's taken from the Padma Purana, how the Bhagavatam liberated a ghost, right? Many stories on the Mahatmya of the Bhagavatam, and we'll just do one today, how the Bhagavatam liberated the ghost. Many of you may have heard this, but it's just wonderful to hear it again. So this is the story of Atmadev, a Brahmin, very pious Brahmin, used to do all his stuff, and they were very well off also. So this Atmadev Brahmin was married to a very, very beautiful lady, and she was a very dutiful wife. Dutiful. She was beautiful, and she was also very dutiful. She did everything that she had to. But unfortunately, she also brought a characteristic where she loved to gossip, right? She would gossip, she would badmouth, and she would nag. So she had that, despite the fact that she did everything she had to do for her husband and stuff like that. Her name was Dunduli. Okay, so we have Atmadev and we have Dunduli. They lived very happily because obviously they had all the material comforts, and they went on and did what they had to. But guess what was missing in their lives? They were missing a child. So now Atmadev realizes that there's nothing for me in life. I've tasted every material satisfaction that there is to be had out there. I've had money, I've got a huge house, I've got Ghoda Gadi, and I've got everything. I need a child, and I don't have a child. He's saying, fed up. And I'm literally very tired of my wife's nagging and of her carrying, Prajalpa. I need to move on. So he says, since I'm not going to get a child, I'm going to give up my life. So Atmadev actually decides to kill himself. He goes to this lake, and obviously, he's thinking about the fact that he wants to give up his life, contemplating on whatever. And around that time, one sage comes by who was thirsty and who wanted to drink water. Now the sage asks Atmadev, you look like such a devout person. Devotees have a certain shine about them. You look at all these shining faces over here. Each and every one of you bring such a glow inside of you, And Mahaprabhu is forever smiling. So his glow just emanates and, it encompasses all of us. It's really so true. So the sage, this Muni looks at Atmadev and he says, you look like you're a very pious person. You look like, you are a very spiritual person. Why are you sitting in such sorrow over here by this lake? What is going on? So Atmadev says, I'm going to give up my life because I don't have a child. So the sage says, he looks at him and he does whatever as a calculation and he says, you are not going to have a child, not in this life. You're not going to have a child in the next 7 lives. So why are you aspiring for something that's not going to happen your way? Take that as Krishna's will and live your life, because you are living a spiritual life anyways. So take that, this is Krishna's will, live a life without a child. But he's saying, listen, Atmadev says, I appreciate everything that you're trying to tell me over here, but I'm not interested in preaching right now. I'm really not interested in that. I'm just going to give up my life if I don't get a child. So then the Muni says, okay, if that's what you want, give it a shot. And you see how life is going to work with you when you are going against Krishna's will. This is what he tells him. So the Muni prays and he gives him a fruit. Right? He says, give this fruit to your wife, and when your wife eats it, you'll get a child. So Atmadev is very happy now. He goes back home with the fruit and immediately he tells his wife, eat this fruit and we'll get a child. Now, we have Dunduli on the other side, right? Very independent-minded woman. She's not going to listen to everything that her husband says. So immediately she says, I need to have a shower first. I'm not going to eat the fruit right away. So now when she goes to to have a shower or whatever, her mind has started working. She's like, I don't want to have a child. My body is going to become totally shapeless. What am I going to do? 24/7, I'm going to be taking care of this child. I'm leading such an independent life right now. I have all the material opulences. I'm enjoying myself. There is no way I want to be burdened by a child. I am not going to eat this fruit. So immediately now she's thinking, what should I do? What should I do? Because she's a dutiful wife. Remember, we said that. So she can't just tell her husband, sorry, I'm not going to eat this, give it to someone else. She can't say that. So she's thinking of a deceitful way of cheating her husband. She called up a sister immediately. Call in the sense, whatever that calling system was in those days. Her sister finds out and her sister comes to visit her. Her sister happens to be pregnant at this time. So now between the two of them, they concoct this plan, and the sister says, listen, my husband needs money and your husband has lots of money. So I'm pregnant and you don't want to be pregnant. So let's do a barter system over here. When my child is born, I'll give you the child so you don't have to go through the 9 months of pregnancy and labor and then getting your body out of shape and all that stuff. But when I give you my child, I'll tell them my child passed away, but you give me money for that because my husband needs money. So Dunduli is like, great idea. She said, what do we do with this fruit? She said, let's give it to the cow in the barn, because that way we can also prove whether the Muni's blessing was true or not. Let's give it to the cow. Okay, so the two sisters concoct this, and this is the plan that they're going to go with. When they go with this plan, Dunduli has now given the fruit to the cow. Her sister has given birth to the baby. The sister has brought the baby to Dunduli's house. Dunduli has given her sister's husband money. Plan successful, right? Then what happens is, so now Atmadev is extremely happy because he's got a baby boy. And at the same time, 3 months later, the cow also delivers a human child. The cow delivers a human child. This child has ears like the cow, right? A human child with ears like the cow. So they call this child Gokarna. And Dhunduli, because she is so conceited, she decides to call her child Dhundukari right after herself. She says, I'm so beautiful, so my child is going to become as beautiful as me. I'm going to call my son Dhundukari. So you have Gokarna with the ears of the cow, born of the cow, and then you have Dhundukari, right? Two brothers. The parents are very happy. But this is how they grow up. Dhundukari, unfortunately, gets into all kinds of bad habits. You name it, and he's done it, or he's doing it, or he's going to do it. Whereas Gokarna, on the other side, is a very spiritual child. He studies the scriptures, and he does everything that a pious person should do. All right? This goes on for a while. And after a while, what happens is, Dhundukari now needs more money, right? To maintain a certain lifestyle, you need some more money. And obviously, he's not working because he's only going to be taking up everything that belongs to his father. And now that there isn't any money, he starts beating his father. He beats his father and he starts asking him for money. So now Atmadev has come back to the lake, second time, and this time he wants to kill himself again. And kill himself, why? Because now he has a son. Remember, the first time he went, I'm going to kill myself because I don't have a son, and now I'm going to kill myself because I have a son, and I have a son like Dhundukari. And at that time, Gokarna comes and he says, Father, what is happening? And he tells him this, whatever the case is. So Gokarna tells him, no, don't do that. Please go and go to a spiritual place and do your spiritual practices over there. I'll try and take care of whatever's happening over here. He advises his father nicely. So his father leaves now. Atmadev leaves and he goes away on a spiritual pilgrimage, to do a spiritual pilgrimage. And at that time, what happens? Now Dhundukari knows that there's not even a father. So he goes even more overboard, right? He does even more disgusting things. Now he starts beating his mother. And when he starts beating his mother one day finally finds escape. She escapes from wherever, that little house, she escapes. She jumps in a well and she kills herself. Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai. She jumps in a well and she kills herself. Right? So this is how the story is panning out. So now Dhundukari's parents are dead. Dhundukari has got everything out there. And the next step that he does is he marries 5 prostitutes, right? He gets married to 5 prostitutes, and obviously the prostitutes get married to him because they've seen that he's been living in an opulent house and they assume that he's going to give them all the material opulences. But he doesn't have all the material opulences because he's been spending it. So what does he do now? He starts stealing. He goes around and he starts stealing to make his wives satisfied, make them satisfied with their demands. But what happens is, when he does that, the prostitutes realize that if our husband is going to go around stealing, he's going to get caught. And if he's going to get caught, he's going to put the blame on us, saying that he's stealing because of us. And we are all going to go to jail. So let's just kill him. It's okay. So the 5 of them, they tie him up. Right? They tie him up and they try to strangle him. Dhundukari does not die. They take hot burning coals and they put hot burning coals into Dhundukari's mouth. And that is how they kill him. They kill Dhundukari and they bury him in that house, and the 5 prostitutes take whatever is left and they run away. Now what happens is, Gokarna comes. Gokarna comes back and he hears about all the story and he says, oh my goodness, my brother is dead. So he does all the samskaras for his brother who's dead. Right? You have to do all that for the departed soul. But unfortunately, when he's staying in the house, he's seeing all these ghosts because Dhundukari didn't die a natural death. So his Atma is floating around in the form of a ghost. Right? So sometimes he comes as the wind, sometimes he comes as a bull, sometimes he even came as Lord Indra. So Gokarna is like, who is this? And then Dhundukari tells him that I am your brother. Can you please, I beg of you, I pray to you, please release me from this ghostly body. But Gokarna says, I have already done all the rituals. I have performed all the last rites for you. You really should not be floating here like this. So he says, I don't know, I have done so many sins in my life that obviously I'm not able to get rid of this body. So help me, help me. So then what Gokarna does is he goes to the sun god and he asks the sun god, what should I do? Because I have done everything as per whatever is meant to be done. Then the sun god tells him that you need to have a Bhagavad Saptaha. Recite the Bhagavatam for 7 full days from the morning to dusk. And then Dhundukari needs to listen to this attentively, and that is the only way he will find release. He will be released from his ghost body. So Gokarna, spiritual as he is, they make a big announcement and all the villagers, everybody comes to listen to Gokarna's recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam Saptaha. Srimad Bhagavatam Saptaha is very famous. A lot of people have the Srimad Bhagavatam Saptaha. They break it up into 7 points and they do that. So here's Dhundukari in this ghost, right? So you see this bamboo, it has 7 knots in it, right? So they actually asked Dhundukari to go inside this and stay over there and listen attentively. And every day at dusk, when Gokarna finished the story, one of these knots would break and fall off, right? Day by day, till all the knots broke off. So 7 days, the Bhagavad Saptaha went off. The villagers came very dedicatedly. They listened to the story. And Dhundukari also was there. Obviously, he listened to the Bhagavatam very, very carefully. On the 7th day, at the end of the 7th day, when the Bhagavad Saptaha was over, the bamboo completely broke and Dhundukari appeared from it. And guess what? He's come with a bluish complexion. He's wearing yellow garments. He's wearing a tulsi mala and he's wearing a helmet made of gold. And people are like, Jai, Jai, Jai. And then the Vishnu Dutas come to take Dhundukari and go away. Right? Shocking, right? So what happens is, what is the difference? So what happens is, when Dhundukari was going, Gokarna was surprised, was not jealous or envious or anything of that sort. He wanted his brother to go. But he's like, this entire village of people, every one of them came here for 7 whole days and they were sitting over here listening to the Bhagavatam. So why is it that only Dhundukari got this body, and why was only he allowed to go to heaven? That was his question, right? Bhagavad Saptaha, everybody came exactly when it began and everybody was here exactly when it ended. They all had prasadam and they all went. But why is it that only Dhundukari got this body? That was his question. Because Gokarna, such a spiritual and compassionate person, wanted everybody to go to heaven. So he's like, why did this happen? And at that time, the Vishnu Dutas tell him, the difference was in the listening. When I heard this, my hair stood up on end, because we do this all the time, right? I do this all the time. I am so-called listening to a lecture, and I realized I'm not listening to a lecture. And this was such a dash of cold water, that when you are listening, you are supposed to listen, heart, mind and soul. That is the potency of the Bhagavatam, when you listen to it with your full mind and when you meditate upon it and when you think about it. Not only that, Dhundukari also fasted, obviously fasted because he couldn't eat. But this, even in Ekadashi, when you accidentally fast, you still get the benefits. The same thing happened over here. He was fasting, he was stuck in that bamboo, so he had no other choice but to listen. But he listened and he meditated on the Bhagavatam. And that was the potency which eventually, when the Bhagavad Saptaha was opened, the bamboo cane broke and he was liberated and he went. Now Gokarna, of course, such a compassionate human being, he's saying, oh, that's all fine and dandy, but these people also deserve to go to heaven. So they had a second recitation. This is what Gokarna did. He had the second recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He did the same Srimad Bhagavatam Saptaha again. Everybody in the village heard that the only reason Dhundukari was liberated and they were not liberated was because of their the attention. They had to listen with attention, they had to listen with reverence, and they had to meditate upon that. So the second recitation, Gokarna did the second recitation again, the village came again, and at the end of the Saptaha, each and every one of those attendees, Vishnu Dutas came, picked them up and took them to heaven. But the second time, Lord Hari came down. Lord Hari came down himself and he gave Gokarna a big hug. You're such a compassionate devotee that not only did you do this for your brother, but you did it again for the entire village because you wanted all of them to go to heaven. So Krishna himself came down and he took Gokarna back to heaven with him, and every single person, not only every single person, every dog, horse, cat, every animal that was over there also got delivered, and they were all taken to heaven. All right, so this is such a beautiful story, right? So the third way for us, easy way for us to remember, is to listen to these amazing stories. And then, whether you like it or not, you're washing dishes, right? You're vacuuming the house, there's noise all around you, but these stories come back to you. Such an easy and such a marvelous way to remember Krishna, right? Such an easy way to remember Krishna also. Smaranam, that's what we were talking about today, the third limb, Smaranam. So this is, see, here Krishna comes and he hugs Gokarna and he takes him back. So the final slide is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. It's very easy for me to say and it's very hard for me myself to practice. But listening to lectures and listening to, senior devotees talk about this is something that I would like to share with you folks also. Srila Prabhupada says, for when there is an order from a superior about doing something, there is simultaneously a prohibition. When the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. Srila Prabhupada says this in the Nectar of Devotion, right? Now let's look at something, right? What are our prohibitions? Simple 4 rules, right? We have don't eat meat, don't abuse substance, including caffeine, don't have illicit sex, and don't gamble. These are our don'ts, right? And the do is chant minimum 16 rounds of japa. Now the beauty of this do's and the don'ts is that they work together in a cycle, right? When you are abstaining from eating meat or when you are abstaining from gambling, let's say Diwali party, right? You go to someone's house for Diwali party, everyone is playing cards and you say, no, I don't want to play cards because I don't gamble or whatever the case is. You say that. Now, when you say that, you immediately remember Krishna because you say, I had stopped gambling. I used to play Diwali Teen Patti all the time, but I have stopped gambling because I want to do this for Krishna. Right? So that allows you to then think about Krishna. So these things, when you abstain from doing them, you don't feel like, arey, yaar, why did I get into ISKCON? Or because of ISKCON, I'm not allowed to play Teen Patti. No, it doesn't work like that. Krishna is so benevolent. When you say, no, I don't want to play Teen Patti, you say, Krishna, I want to make you happy. I've stopped this because I'm in love with you. I want to make you happy. Right? So you're abstaining from this and then it allows you to grow your love for Krishna. And on the flip side, when you're chanting your rounds, that chanting gives you the power to don't do these things. When you start chanting, you naturally lose taste for gambling, for meat eating, for substance abuse, and for illicit. You naturally lose it. So they both work hand in hand, and you should try both. Work both. Pay attention to one, pay attention to the other. One way or the other, they work very, very nicely together, and one will help the other. And, it will be easy for us then to always remember Krishna. And again, so when we think, oh, I'm sitting in the office, I'm on my computer, well, I'm never going to remember Krishna. I'm busy, writing my code or whatever the heck it is that we do at work or whatever. So, but at that time, we are abstaining. We are not eating meat even when we are at work, right? When we go for Christmas parties, we are not drinking alcohol over there. We are abstaining. So at that time, we are not remembering Krishna consciously, but we have not forgotten Krishna because we are still maintaining these 4 regulative principles, right? So these are some hopefully helpful hints for us all to allow us to remember Krishna 24/7. And if you have any questions, I think we may have a few minutes. Or maybe not. I think I've overdone my period. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Mike.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. My question is, what is the line between being little offensive in a way while chanting and then being liberal about chanting anywhere, you know. So is there any offense created per se other than after the 16 rounds or, you know, they talk about offenses while chanting, correct? So when I'm trying to be liberal about chanting, is there a fine line which I'm crossing over, or is that something I'm misunderstanding right now?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question. So you're saying you finish your chanting concentratedly,
Correct.
and after that you don't concentrate.
Yeah, means you're kind of singing, or you're doing caroling, or you know, you're replacing Hare Krishna mantra. So there is no offense being created, correct?
Actually, you know what? I shouldn't risk answering this. I personally think there's no risk because that's why I do it. Because I'm just trying to remember Krishna. So I'm chanting Krishna's name. Like if I'm vacuuming, I'm chanting Krishna's name. It's not going in my ear, but I'm just chanting it because it brings a smile to my face. But that's a $1 million question. I can get back to you on that. Such a wonderful question.
But I would, you know, stand behind you and follow your path, Mataji.
Oh, no, don't do that.
No, because
Oh my God.
I feel you're right. At any given date and time, if you're constantly thinking of Krishna, nothing can be beaten by that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I would think so.
So true.
But Mahaprabhu, Prabhu, would you like to answer that?
Thank you so much. I mean, such a beautiful lecture and very nice question. And I think, you already answered. And Prabhu also answered it. If you are chanting all the time while doing everything else, I think that I would say it's a kind of a superior meditation than the other way around. If you have a desire to chant after your, this kind of rounds are done and you are still chanting it, and at the same time, you have to do whatever you have to do. Actually, that's a superior meditation, I would say.
Jai. Jai.
In my humble opinion, no.
You know,
Thank you,
I'd
yeah.
like to add a little thing. I am in one of the products which is pretty useless, right? Jewelry. You know, on the bar of...
Look at how they get decorated. Jewelry,
Correct,
beautiful,
correct.
yeah.
So I've always advised a lot of my customers, especially devotees who also bought from me, and I always say that, you know what? You sent up Krishna, think of him, and with his permission wear it. And
Yeah, Jai. There you go.
So I guess, yeah.
Thank you.
Sharing that mood, you know. Thank
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. So, on that line, when we don't want to stop chanting, actually that's the kind of Krishna's reciprocation to us. If we really chanted so nicely, then Krishna will not leave us now. Because we did so that's why we want to do whatever we are doing. We still want to continue chanting. So, Prabhu, I would say that is Krishna would never leave us.
Jai.
Like a loving child. You know, he said, no, now I'm not going to leave you. How can I leave you? You is such a kind of you try to please me so nicely.
Yeah.
How can I leave my devotee? So,
Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu, for that. That's it? Any other questions?
Any final questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
for the
Krishna.
wonderful class. Let's thank